Hello and welcome back to Grand Prix Antwerp 2013. We're past the quarterfinals now into the semis when we got 4 players left. So standing here that are vying for the title of Grand Prix Antwerp champion, the largest Grand Prix that was played in the modern format yet ever with 1,600 players. That also meant that the whole top 8 qualified for Pro Tour Born of the God in Valencia. And we've seen some interesting decks make the top 8, but fell just short. In fact, did lose to Junt. We weren't expecting Junt, so that's Herman Runarsson who fell down at the hands of Nazar Sotiriadi. We saw one of the living end decks lose to Fabrizio's Anteri God draws on red-green Tron. So these two will face off against each other. Then we saw Patrick Dickmann defeating Thomas Hendricks in the Splinter Twin mirror match. Patrick played very, very well. And then in the last match, Rasmus Bjorklund on living end did manage to defeat his affinity opponent of Fjord. So we have now Fabrizio Anteri against Nazar Sotiriadi, that is red-green Tron against Junt. And we have Patrick Dickmann against Rasmus Bjorklund, which is an interesting matchup of Splinter Twin against living end. And that we are going to see Nazar Sotiriadi of Russia playing Junt against Fabrizio Anteri of Venezuela or Italy, depends on when you ask him. Living in London and doing really well this tournament. He only had lost 1 match the whole tournament. That's why he is the #1 seed. That's why he's playing first and starting off with Grove of the Burnwills into Chromatic Star.
Yeah, and Junt against Red Green Tron, a matchup everyone was expecting coming into the tournament. And we said that the way the top 8 shaped out, it was a bit different. 2 living end, 1 Splinter Twin. In fact, so 4 uncommon decks, but these 2 decks were played a lot, and they will know how to play this matchup.
Yeah, here's a turn 1 Deathrite Challenge from Nazar Sotiriadi, a card that doesn't do particularly well in this matchup. It's still a decent mana ramp, and the best use for it is to ramp into turn 2 Liliana or something similar. So, and Sylvan Scrank on turn 2 for Nazar. That's a good start for Fabrizio.
Yeah, unfortunately, the first land he had to play was a Grove of the Burnwillow, so no possibility for Tron on turn 3, but maybe on turn 4 with another expedition map, for example, or Sylvan's Crying.
So goes for the power plant. Already has his mine in his hand on the battlefield. So doing quite well. Verdant Catacombs for Nazar. He seemed very fast. Does he have the Liliana?
Yeah, he does. One of the Junt's best draws against Red Green Tron. Turn 2 Liliana. Fabrizio, he can miss some cards, but once he gets to discard 2 or 3, it's getting dangerous.
It hurts. Yeah. The deck certainly top decks pretty well. And once Nazar combines it with some sort of pressure, and Fabrizio might be in trouble. Especially because Fabrizio was on the play, so has 1 fewer cards than Nazar. Yeah, here's the Liliana, +1.
You see, Fabrizio also has another Sylvan's Crying, so he could actually assemble the complete Tron there if he wants to next turn.
Discards a Ullmark probably. Yeah, discards a Ullmark and shuffle his graveyard into the library. As just a scavenging ooze for discard for Nazar. So a very good start, especially when you're on the draw. Turn to Liliana is what you want to be doing, especially against Red Green Tron. Would have been that much more devastating on the play.
Yeah, and game 1 is very hard for Junt, as we know, and not really a way to deal with the Urza lands. There's no Tectonic Edge in the Junt list since they're too greedy on their mana. After Cyber, things should get better for Nazar, as he will be bringing in some land destructions.
Yeah, he does have a few, not too many though, so we'll see how that goes. Sylvan's Crying from Fabrizio, searching out for another land. It's an Urza's Tower. There's the Urza's Tower, but the power plant gets played, so now Nazar knows that next turn Fabrizio will have the
8 mana on turn 4.
Means Oblivion Stone.
Oblivion Stone, or maybe Ancient Stirring searching out a Wormcoil Engine.
Inquisition first. Oh, double Oblivion Stone, but also Wormcoil Engine. That's problematic for Nazar. Wormcoil Engine is one of the best creatures against Jund because it survives the first removal and still leaves up behind two very significant creatures.
Yeah, as we've mentioned, game 1 for Nazar, very, very hard. Turn 2, Liliana of the Veil, seems to be not going to be enough. He will use the +1, but Fabrizio will probably just discard the Ancient Stirrings. Then in his turn, play the second Oblivion Stone, and then the next turn it's time for Whirlpool Engine to finish the job.
Now, both players discard a card. 3-drop Village, Ancient Stirrings. Fabrizio has a lot of options now. Can either play the Oblivion Stone or the Whirlpool Engine. And goes for the Oblivion Stone first.
Yeah, he goes for the Oblivion. And I also am very impressed by the way Fabrizio is playing. He's also very experienced, same as Patrick Dickmann actually. Yeah, these guys have been playing their decks a lot, and it's what makes Modern as it is. We've seen it, if you play a lot of Affinity, you will be doing good. We've seen Frank Karsten make it to the top 16. We see a lot of players at GP Detroit being very well because they play a lot of Affinity, top 8ing.
Yeah.
Just play your deck a lot, practice a lot on Magic Online, and you will be good in Modern.
Absolutely. So Fabrizio Anteri doesn't use the Oblivion Stone yet. He's still waiting, so he will probably he will discard a card from his hand. Yeah, he doesn't seem to mind.
He recognizes that he can miss that forest in hand, and this way he gets to untap with an empty board and then just drop the Whirlpool Engine.
So end of turn, Oblivion Stone blows up Liliana and Deathrite Shaman, and Nazar in response will exile Sylvan Scrying, it looks like. Have Fabrizio lose 2 life, go down to 16. And then now Fabrizio also drew an All Is Dust, so if Nazar then decides to flood the board, which probably won't happen, just the Deathrite Shaman and the Scavenging Unit. So he might actually just play the All Is Dust.
Yeah, now
that some value here.
Nazar has no more cards in hand, so Fabrizio is definitely going to play that All Is Dust.
So Chromatic Star played and cycled through for green mana, draws a forest, and for 7 mana he will play the All Is Dust. So Scavenging Ooze. I see. Sorry, yeah. What can I do? The Whirlpool Engine goes in for 6. Nazar down to 11. Fabrizio up to 22. Nazar can now maybe hope to draw a land and take with his Raging Ravine, but he's almost out of options here. Needs to chain, maybe Terminate into Maelstrom Pulse or something like that. He does play 2 Terminates and 1 Maelstrom Pulse.
Yeah, but even then, he's still facing 8 mana from Fabrizio Anteri, and he's nowhere near killing him either. So he needs runner, and then
needs Fabrizio to go brick.
So 1 out of 256.
Okay. You're quick on your feet with your math. Another Urza's Tower for Fabrizio, but he's just content attacking for 6 here. Going up to 28. Now Nazar just needs to top deck something to block. He maybe needs land just to block with his Raging Ravine, but yeah. That's a Tarmogoyf. That won't change the math much here. And you look at his graveyard. Trying to figure out how big it is. Yeah. Fabrizio.
It might be a 6/7 with the Planeswalker, Artifact, Creature, and Instant Sorcery Lands. So it might be a 6/7 actually.
Oh, is that not tribal?
Oh yeah. So it will be a 6/7, big enough to block the Whirlpool Engine.
Yeah, but it is Death Touch and Lifelink, so just delaying it again.
And now Nazar is drawing to one of his Maelstrom. Well, he only has one Maelstrom Pulse.
Waiting on the tokens. Nazar, can he get back into this game? He now has the Blood Crypt, so he can use the Raging Ravine to block one. Maybe drew a Lightning Bolt to kill the other one. No, I just need Bright Decay on one. Nazar Sotiriadi now down to 1.
With the ghost quarter.
Tarmogoyf, is the comeback on? Silver's going no. So now
perfect timing there to get Eye of Ubin, and next turn it will be Emrakul. Well, not Emrakul, as I believe he does not have one main deck.
Just Nulamog.
Also interesting choice there, not to run that main deck Emrakul. Many of these Tron decks have been running main deck Emrakul, but Fabrizio has been playing testing a lot. Recognize he does only need Lamok, that's a big guy. And that means that you cannot draw the early Emrakul as a dead card.
Yeah.
Just some more consistency added to the red-green Tron deck.
So the Eye of Ubin now out. Another Raging Ravine for Nazar here. But he's going to be facing off against an Ulmo very soon. Nazar attacks with the Raging Ravine, and that will just get ghost quartered probably. Yeah, not even. Fabrizio just takes the damage.
If you're at 37, sometimes it's fine to take.
Yeah, it's actually the game is over now. Fabrizio will search for the Ulamog, destroy the Tarmogoyf, and attack with his Worm token for the kill. Yep, Nazar sees the writing on the wall, scoops them up, wanted to see the kill. So Fabrizio Anteri now up a game on Nazar Sotiriadi. Red Green Tron still going strong, but now he has to face off against 2 Fulminating Mages and one Sowing Salt.
That's not a lot. There is also 1 Slaughter Games, which could help against either, Karn, Wormcoil Engine.
Yeah,
it's a start. It's not the best. Another Sowing Salt would have been a lot better, but maybe he just draws that one-off Sowing Salt.
Probably better than a lot of the other cards in Nazar Sotiriadi's main deck. So these will go to game 2. Yeah, we're going to have a look at the other feature match now, which is Rasmus Bjorklund against Patrick Dickmann. Rasmus Bjorklund is on Living End, and Patrick Dickmann is on Splinter Twin. So we're going to. They just finished with game 1, so they're sideboarding. We'll just find out who won game 1 and set up the game so that we see.
And this matchup should favor Patrick Dickmann. And Splinter Twin against Living End. Living End is fine at killing creatures, but if it's an end of turn creature, it gets a lot harder. Only Violent Outburst into Living End there. Maybe Beast Within helps a little bit, but it is expensive, 3 mana.
Yeah, problem for Rasmus Bjorklund is the fact that Patrick Dickmann plays remands as well as cryptic commands. Yeah. And also, you can just put a lot of pressure just by playing Snapcasters, Pastermites, and so on. Ooh, Patrick Dickmann, as we see, up a game on Rasmus Bjorklund. Okay, so Rasmus Bjorklund did go for a Living End, but Patrick Dickmann did have the remand, as I said. So that set up all the hopes away for Rasmus Bjorklund, and Patrick Dickmann managed to combo off for the win.
And also the good thing about the blue-red Splinter Twin is that it has quite some basic lands against the Fulminator plan. So it can fetch double island and mountain, and then basically place anything if it plays a 4th land. So it's certainly something that speaks in the favor of Patrick Dickmann.
Yeah, Patrick also has 2 really good progenitors in his sideboard that he can bring in. Those should be quite good. But I think already his main deck is quite good against the deck. Also because he runs the Vendilion Click main deck. Can always have the information about what the opponent is up to with peaks. We see Rasmus Bjorklund bringing in the Ingotsures. Maybe anticipating Better Skull?
Yeah, I don't think Patrick will be bringing in Better Skull in this matchup, but maybe just wants a cheap cycler. Well, it's not exactly a cycler, a cheap evoke creature, so he can turn 3.
Yeah.
Beast with turn 3 convoke. Oh, convoke. I'm doing bad. Turn 3 cascade. Thank you. Into Living End.
Yeah. See, Rasmus Bjorklund also has ricochet traps, but those might not be working as he would hope there. So. Patrick, you can see how deliberate. He's so like his brother. I mean, I'm sure Fabian will be very unhappy to hear that. But the mannerism and the careful play and just being very deliberate about what he's doing. Remember, he got into the top 8 on the back of a concession by Reto Sormani of Switzerland, because they went to time, meaning that neither player would make the top 8. So Reto Sormani decided, okay, I'm going to concede to you. You can make the top 8. And it's paying off in dividends. Patrick Dickmann now already in the semifinals and up a game, primed to at least repeat his brother's performance from Grand Prix Bochum a year ago, where Patrick's twin brother Fabian managed to win on the back of, managed to get second place, losing to the finals to Martin Musa. So that's a great story to have, and it kind of adds to that both Patrick and Fabian were playing Splinter Twin and they're twins. I think that's a great story. You can certainly check out more information about the tournament on the text coverage on dailymtg.com. There's a lot of features from Tobias Henke and Oliver Gierman, who have prepared a lot of text for you to browse through in your free time. If you want to find out more about Modern, it has the metagame breakdown, has deck lists. We'll have the top 8 and top 16 deck lists up. So definitely something to look out for if you want to prepare for Modern and do well.
What I also like about this top 4 is that there's 4 different archetypes, and all 4 are trying something completely different.
Yep.
Red Green Tron, it tries to assemble the Tron and just to ramp up into big spells. Junt tries to discard, stick a Tarmogoyf or Dark Confident and ride from there. Splinter Twin, it tries to combo off with 2 cards, Deceiver Exile or Pestermite plus Splinter Twin or Kiki Chiki. And then there's Living End, which tries to, well, cascade into Living End.
Yeah.
Get some creatures into the graveyard. Just great to see all the different archetypes in this top 4, and just speaks for how great Modern is at this moment. And I think the banned and restricted is really good. It's a really healthy format. You can play whatever you want, whatever you have been practicing. There's not even a birthing pot in the top 8.
Yeah. And that's 3 archetypes on its own.
Yeah, so it's just so many archetypes. I did a seminar with 19 different archetypes. I didn't have Living End just because I thought it wouldn't be live anymore.
Did you have Infect?
I did have Infect,
okay,
because I had played it before, but no Living End because I thought it wasn't good anymore against Scavenging Ooze and Deathrite Shaman, but it still is there. Deathrite Shaman is a creature, so it dies to Living End. Just great to see how this top 8 shaped out.
Yeah, it's really, as we see Rasmus Bjorklund, we have a ramp deck, a combo deck, a graveyard deck, and a mid-range deck. It's very nice to see. A nice mix, even though some of the graveyard elements are very combo-ish. Rasmus Bjorklund does keep the 6 with double Violent Outburst. Does he only have 1? No, he does have, I think he has 2 lands. Patrick Dickmann with turn 1 Grim Lavamancer. Monstrous Carabid.
Interesting choice by Patrick to cyber. Well, actually, no, you cannot. No, interesting choice to cyber Grim Lavamancer.
Maybe he went for the combo plan, thinking the game will go along, and then he will just, keep counters up and just burn Rasmus Bjorklund out. Because Rasmus Bjorklund deals damage to him through fetch land and street raids and whatnot. Rasmus did draw the second land there. Verdant Catacombs, very fortunate for him. He also still has street raid, so I'm sure he will do some more cycling here. The Grim Lavamancer attacks for 1 there. And Patrick can maybe play a land and already has some counter magic up. Remember, he does run 3 remands, so. Yeah, Rasmus already also has a Simian Spirit Guide, so doesn't cycle anything. Draws a Twisted Abomination. Let's see how he goes here. Still has a lot of options. You can cycle, you can wait. You might not want to run to the counter magic. Ideally, I think what Rasmus wants to do is end of turn Violent Outburst to force out the counter, and then on his turn do it again once Patrick is tapped out to get a lot of creatures on board, because I think Patrick might struggle once there's a lot of big fatties on the battlefield.
Well, yeah, but still, even if Rasmus has like 10 or 12 power, he doesn't kill instantly as Patrick Dickmann does.
That's true. Yeah, so even after the combo of Rasmus happens, where he puts some creatures into play, Patrick can just play Pestermite and then Splinter Twin and win.
Yeah, the counter combo is much more dangerous from Patrick Dickmann.
Definitely. So Rasmus Bjorklund swamp cycles away the Twisted Abomination and finds a Blood Crypt, which he then plays tapped. Let's see. What can Patrick do here? That's the beauty of the Splinter Tree deck. It can always threaten a turn 4 kill. And just sometimes randomly happens that you just go for it and win on the spot. Oh, Patrick will now find out what the plan is for Rasmus. He sees the double outburst, sees the Street Wraith and the Simian Spirit Guide, so now he knows what's up.
And Peak gives you a lot of information. It just makes you sculpt your plan, and if you know what you're doing, that's very important. Patrick Dickmann will know how to play his following 5 or 6 turns of this information from his Peak.
Yeah, so let's see how Patrick uses this information. Draws a card off of the Peak. It's not a discard spell, so Rasmus Bjorklund will get to keep all of his cards. More lands for Patrick. We don't quite get to see his hand. You know he has Steam Vents and a Scalding Tarn in his hand. Peak being used to a great effect. It's some decks usually run Slate of Hand, which gives you more card selection, but Peak gives you the extra information. Being an instant is important because Patrick could also run Gitaxian Probe, which reveals the hand, but it is a sorcery, so by being an instant, Patrick can be a little bit more sneaky. I think Rasmus also drew a Ricochet Trap. On the other table, Fabrizio Anteri is already in the finals. He didn't give the John deck any chance even in game 2 and moved on to the finals still with only 1 loss under his belt. He's coming into the finals looking for more wins.
Yeah, and he's very experienced, as we said, with Red Green Tron. No surprise there that he wins his semi-finals against a John deck with only 3 cyber cards. Very good. 1 Sowing Salt, 2 Fulminator Mage, not enough in the matchup, as I said. Even after 1 or 2 Fulminator Mage, the Red-Green Tron deck can still win. You really need those Sowing Salts.
Let's see who his opponent will be. Rasmus Bjorklund or Patrick Dickmann, who is up a game. Rasmus Bjorklund now has a triple Violent Outburst. So let's see if he actually goes for it. Yeah, there's the update. Fabrizio Anteri already in the finals, defeating Russian Nazar Sotiriadi, so Venezuela and Italy can rejoice, as well as his English friends, where he's currently residing, so really multinational player there. So Patrick Dickmann draws another land. And swings with Lavamancer again, for 1, just for 1, Rasmus down to 14. It looks like Rasmus is going to go for it here. End of turn, Violent Outburst. Yeah, please start cascading. As a trigger to, Cascade is a trigger basically. Once Violent Outburst is played, the Cascade is put on the stack on top of it, so Patrick can now respond to the Violent Outburst with the Living End on the trigger. Patrick Dickmann searches out the basic island with his fetch land. It looks like he will go for a Cryptic Command, maybe a Remand. Let's see, 2 mana, it is a Remand. So Patrick actually then decides to Remand the Living End.
But now Rasmus could discard his Simian Spirit Guide to Ricochet Trap, no?
Yeah, the Living End should be put in Rasmus. Yeah, okay, so he could try to that. So he exiles the Simian Spirit Guide and goes for the Ricochet Trap. This is actually a very neat interaction where basically what happened is the Ricochet Trap changes the target of a spell, and he changes the target of Remand from a Living End to Ricochet Trap itself. Meaning,
Patrick should still draw a card though from his Remand, and
it gets countered up in resolution because by the time Remand is resolving, the ricochet trap is not on the stack anymore. So that resolved successfully. So Rasmus Bjorklund now with 5-3, 4-4, and a 3-4 attacks for a lot of damage here. Patrick Dickmann down to 4, I believe. And with, it doesn't have 3 when it opens, so he can't combo kill. What Patrick can do is play Deceiver Exarch, tap down the Twisted Abomination, and maybe block the Street Raid to survive. Yeah, the life totals have to be updated here. Ricochet Trap proving its worth. It can only cost 1 mana because it's a trap card. So, okay, so Rasmus plays a Violent Outburst here,
bumping up all of his creatures. So Danny will deal 5.
Yeah,
9.
He doesn't want to play the living end though.
9 plus 6.
When you cascade off of the living end, you don't have to play the spell that you reveal. You can just put it on bottom, and that's what Rasmus does because he doesn't want to draw another one. So by this way, he makes sure that 1 goes on the bottom of the library. Patrick goes to 1, so he can't use his special. You can see like, what can I do? Yeah, let's try game 3. So Rasmus Bjorklund actually wins the game. We said this is a bad matchup, but he's fighting the ricochet traps, proving their worth. Let's see if he will keep his ingot chewers. He didn't have 1 in his hand the whole time. Yeah, so going to game 3, let's see who Fabrizio and Anteri meets in the finals. This is a very interesting matchup. I think the interaction that both the decks bring, especially after sideboard, makes it nice. I feel though that Patrick might re-sideboard. That Grim Lavamancer wasn't very good, but he might still keep it in his deck. I mean, it is cheap, and the lightning bolts are probably worse. Oh, they're definitely worse.
Yeah, but Grim Lavamancer, I'm not a big fan. First, you don't really want to remove your creatures from the graveyard anyway, should they get there. Oh, now that I see Patrick Dickmann list, he only runs 2 Deceiver Exarch.
Yeah.
Oh,
4
wow.
Masterminds, 2 Exarchs. He does have 4 Splinter Twins and 1 Kiki-Jiki, so interesting. It almost looks like a blue-red control shell. So he does have the Grim Lavamancer in the main deck, so, and 1 more in the sideboard, so he can try to decide what he wants to go. Sometimes he can just go like a blue-red tempo deck. He just plays, Lavamancer, Snapcaster, Vendilion Click, and then remans his Thread and just attacks for loads of damage. And we saw him finishing an opponent from 7 life just by Lightning Bolt you, Snapcaster, Lightning Bolt you, attack for Pitfester Might for 2, a lot of damage. And
after sideboard, the 2 Better Skulls complement to that plan very well. Just some mid-rangey stuff to finish the game, and
it's perfect. Everyone will bring in Path to Exiles, will bring Spell Skites, Torpor Orbs, and whatnot. And you bring in Battle Skull and just a 4/4 lifelinker. And yeah, nice hit cards you have there. I'll just keep attacking. So Patrick definitely like finding out that going hard combo on Splinter Twin might not be the best idea, but going for a hybrid where you can combo and go with mid-range tempo, it can actually be a winning formula.
It's kind of the same approach that we saw from Alessandro Portaro. He also had 4 Threats of Disloyalty in his sideboard, in his Splinter Twin. It didn't go very well for him. But also Patrick Dickmann has also 2 Threats of Disloyalty. So they don't rely on the combo as only because they know Abrupt Decay is a card which is very hard to handle. They know that Dismember is very hard. What's also very interesting to me about Patrick Dickmann is there's no Spellskite as far as I can see.
Nope, nowhere.
I haven't seen a single Splinter Twin deck at this point without Spellskite.
Yeah, well, as we said, he doesn't actually rely on the combo, so he doesn't necessarily want to go for the combo because he doesn't have that much card drawing. It does seem a little bit random at first, but then you kind of see that he can go either way. Combo or mid-range, and the choice of cards clearly reflects that. So both players have shuffled, maybe going to shuffle some more. They have to shuffle their opponent's deck. But we're going to go to game 3. Remember, the winner will get to face Fabrizio and Anteri. Okay, Fabrizio Anteri mentioned that he wants to avoid the living in the final. He already defeated one. And actually, we see Rasmus Bjorklund doesn't actually have that many hate cards. He does have 4 Fulminated Mages main, but no Avalanche Riders. Some Ingotures. But said he felt very lucky to beat the other living end deck. So he'd rather play against Patrick Dickmann, even though I don't think that's a good matchup for him either. So
He thinks he has 7 sideboard cards.
okay. Yeah, Fabrizio feeling very confident against Splinter Twin. He does have Combust, Dismembers, as well as Torpor Orbs and Nature Claims. But as we said, if Fabrizio would bring in these cards,
Patrick Dickmann's just going to destroy him with Molten Rain.
yeah, Molten Rain and counter spells and just pasteurize him with Dillion Click. So I'm not exactly sure if the anti-combo sideboard plan from Fabrizio would work there. It's really cute how Fabrizio runs 3 Stone Rains in his sideboard for the mirror match. You know, like I'm probably not going to get double red for the Fulminated Mage. Stone Rain can be good in other matchups as well. But Bjorklund is on the draw now, has a mulligan, so let's see if this can work. So, change of opinion? Still think Patrick will win?
Yeah, yeah. He's way too experienced to let this one go. I feel like the matchup is in his favor as well. I think Patrick Dickmann will get this one. Now with Rasmus on the draw and on the mulligan already.
And Rasmus having tons of lands, so that showed Minotaur 4 lands and a Demonic Dread, and what you want to have, but I think he can't afford to mulligan anymore. Being on the draw, he will get to draw additional card. Patrick Dickmann leads off with a Misty Rainforest into a Serum Visions, I believe. Or maybe a Grim Lavamancer as we saw in game 1. There's the Steam Vents. Let's see what he can bring here. He taps it for mana and Serum Visions. That's the best start for the Splinter Twin deck, especially on the play, right?
Yeah, being able to scry your next 2 draws will be. You can choose whether they are not good enough. Get yourself some extra lands if you need them. Put away useless cards or use excess of lands.
Yep.
Turn 1 Serum Visions is a very good card. It's worse than Ponder and Preordain, but it's still very good. And
yeah. So Patrick with his Splinter Twin deck. Sacrifice another Mystery Rainforest. Goes down to 16 it seems, so will not be searching for a dual land. Yeah, finds an island. I really like Patrick's deck. I'm a Splinter Twin player at heart. I played it at the Pro Tour 3 years ago when Samuel Estrati took home the title with the deck, and I was very, very happy with it there. And that was a format that was much higher powered. And since then, the Splinter Twin deck did lose Ponder and Preordain to bans, but it's still proving to be quite strong. Serum Visions and Sleight of Hand doing a decent job. Ooh, Rally of Progenitus. That's why Rasmus Bjorklund has brought in the Ingotures.
Yep, it's a good reason for. He really can beat Relic of Progenitus, so he needs those 3 Ingotures. Patrick Dickmann boarding in 2 Relic of Progenitus with cards like Serum Visions and Peak. He does get to dig as fast, quite a lot, and really needs to destroy Relic of Progenitus once it hits play.
Yep. Stomping Ground gets started out with Verdant Catacombs. I think it was a street race for Rasmus Bjorklund, so he does have the cycles to draw into some other cards, but the more he cycles the creatures, the easier he loses them to the Relic. So Patrick definitely has to feel confident by having the Relic of Progenitus. That's the main disadvantage of running a graveyard deck. you can just lose to one hate card sometimes. Another Mr. Rainforest for Patrick Dickmann there. Goes for an untapped steam and not afraid of taking damage. With Fabrizio Anteri watching closely what his next opponent is up to. Him with his red-green Tron deck, he's definitely looking forward more to getting the Splinter Twin deck against him. Here we see Detched Minotaur, Street Wraith, Forbidden Orchard, and Demonic Dread. Actually, Forbidden Orchard can serve him really well here because that would be a way to fire off the Demonic Dread just by giving your opponent a creature. Patrick played another Serum Visions. Has a Cryptic Command in his hand. I also see a Vendilion Click. Yeah, more lands for Rasmus, who did draw another land there, so not what he was looking for. He wants to draw into an Ingature to get rid of the Relic, and then maybe fire off a Demonic Dread to get back some creatures, but with the Relic of Progenitus play, this is going to be tough. Let's see. Oh yeah, so at least he sacrifices the Verdant Catacombs.
Yeah, he can remove that one too, the activation of Relic of Progenitus. So now he can start cycling some. The Relic of Progenitus is tapped at the moment, so at least he gets to keep them there for a turn. If he fires off one of his Demonic Dread, then Patrick Dickmann will have to activate his and sacrifice his Relic of Progenitus, and then at least he got rid of that one.
Yeah, we also saw during shuffling, Rasmus brought in the Frozen Grip, which can be very good against Relic of Progenitus. So, yeah, cycles the Detched Minotaur. Draws a Monstrous Caribid, I think. Yep, Caribid. Draws a Copperline Gorge though, so no Frozen Grip, no Ingatures. And Patrick Dickmann already thinking about sacrificing the Relic here, but with Cryptic Command mana and Vendilion Click also. I think he might Vendilion Click here. Ooh, there's the Beast Within. Definitely a card he was looking forward to.
And the good thing about Beast Within on Relic of Progenitus, if Patrick Dickmann wants to use his Relic of Progenitus, he won't get a 3/3 of the Beast Within. So it's a fine way to deal with the Relic of Progenitus.
Yep. There's the Vendilion Click for Patrick Dickmann. Let's see which player he targets. Will probably be Rasmus. Yeah, that points directly. Rasmus shows his hand. Doesn't even play the Beast Within. So interesting. Just play. Maybe hoping that he'll get to draw something better there.
Yeah, going for Beast Within is fine there, but after that, what is he going to do? Just a Demonic Dread? But he knows that Patrick Dickmann has at least one counter. He's got a full grip of cards. He's been playing 2 Serum Visions already. He's crying some cards to the top of this deck. He knows that he needs more than just a Beast Within on the Relic of Progenitus. And if Patrick Dickmann decides to let it resolve, he's got 6 a turn. Yeah. That's 3 attacks. So I don't think playing the Beast Within would have been too good there.
Yeah, definitely. Might not have been good because that's 3 attacks, 6 damage, 3 turns each. So Rasmus Bjorklund would be quite behind that point, especially with Patrick Dickmann's counter magic ready. So now Patrick gets to untap and starts applying some pressure on Rasmus, and this is where all the control decks shine. We see a Splinter Twin in Patrick's hand, so he's just lacking an Exarch or a Splinter Twin to fire off the combo. Rasmus. With the Demonic Dread being a sorcery, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it is sorcery?
Yeah.
All right. So he can only fire it on his turn. It's not as good as Violent Outburst, which is an instant.
Yeah, Violent Outburst can be cast in response to the Splinter Twin. the Demonic Dread cannot.
Rasmus thinking about that beast within, but he's thinking, do I play it on the relic? Do I play it on the Vendilion Clake? Should I play it at all?
Yeah, he has to be aware that he gives his opponent a 3/3 if he goes for it. So, he might even want to play it on his own land, but with Patrick Dickmann at 13, but we've seen Patrick Dickmann's hand. It's full of goodies. Is a charm, remand, cryptic command, just a very good hand for Patrick Dickmann.
Yeah, he's going for it. Rasmus Bjorklund destroys his own land. In response, Patrick will exile a card from Rasmus's graveyard. And Patrick is a charm, has Splinter Twin, has cryptic command as well. A lot of decision also has the active relic there, so he shouldn't be scared of Demonic Dread. He should be just making sure that he won't die. And that's why I think he might decide to counter that. Or actually, he could also wait until the Beast Within resolves and just bounce the token, draw a card if he wanted to. Just to make sure that Rasmus Bjorklund has fewer lands. But I think he might is a charm. Keeping up his mana for the relic. Remember, relic has two abilities. One taps, and you choose a player, and that player exiles a card of his choice from the graveyard. And for 1 mana and exiling itself, you can exile all cards in all graveyards. So, yep. So is a charm on the Beast Within, meaning it will get countered. So Rasmus will not have a 3/3 of his own.
Yeah, and Patrick correctly recognizes that it can get quite ugly if he taps out for a cryptic command. With Street Raid and then maybe another cycler, it might be possible that there's 3 or 4 creatures in play before you know it.
Yeah, Rasmus could actually maybe try to play the Monstrous Carabid, swinging for some damage. Oh, so he's trying to get rid of the Relic of Progenitors now. Plays Demonic Dread. And yeah. We'll get to Living End on top. That's well played. You don't want to draw the Living End, which would be a dead draw. So that gets remanded. So not going to be of much use there. The Living End will go back to Rasmus's hand, and the relic will stay on the table. Nothing happening here significant. But Patrick Dickmann drawing another card, further advancing his board. Now Rasmus Bjorklund has to pass the turn. And with Street Raid and Monstrous Carabid in his hand, he can't do much here.
He could actually cycle the Street Raid and see if he draws maybe a Simian Spirit Guide and then looks for another Cascade spell but with only 2 mana left, that wouldn't work. He would need to draw 2 cards off 1 draw, and that's not possible, of course. So he will just need to start digging once again. Cannot get too many creatures in his graveyard yet because there's still the Relic of Progenitors.
Ooh, Rasmus is getting desperate. He's looking like he wants to suspend Living End. Usually this act of desperation, the Living End is usually useless in the hand, but the suspend is quite long, I think 3 or 4.
3 or 4, yeah. So it's gonna take some turns, and Patrick Dickmann will know when it is coming, so he will be ready for it.
Yeah, it won't do much good. Yeah, Patrick Dickmann taking off the jack and getting serious there. Exiling a card, adding a Deceiver Exarch to the board. Now that Rasmus Bjorklund has tapped out, the jig might be out. Patrick Dickmann has a Splinter Twin in his hand, so now Rasmus Bjorklund cycles a Street Wraith, draws a Simian Spirit Gate, but has not much else going on. Has also Monstrous Carabid. Can he draw anything though out of it? So
he might be. Is he running any Dismember?
He is running Dismember.
So if he draws Dismember with the cycle he's got left, then he can draw the Dismember, and with Simian Spirit Guide he can actually play it. So that seems to be his only chance here.
Yeah. So looks like he will draw with the Monstrous Carabid, his only chance. Yeah. There's a 1/1 token from Forbidden Orchard. It doesn't have flying though. He draws another Street Wraith, so passes the turn here. It's going to come down to the top card of Rasmus Bjorklund's library. Because, yeah, there's a Splinter Twin on the Deceiver Exarch. Bjorklund cycles Street Wraith. If he gets to draw Dismember, he can exile the Simian Spirit Guide. No, It's a mountain. Yeah, there he goes. Patrick Dickmann wins the game and a match, following in his brother's footsteps and getting to finals of a GP. Claps all around. And now Patrick Dickmann will face off against Fabrizio Anteri.
Yeah, and very patiently played by Patrick Dickmann. Sit behind his relic of progenitus for quite some turns. Slowly waited till his opponent finally pulled off the trigger with the living end, and then he knew I could go for it. Yeah. Played the Deceiver Exer, tapped down the last land that was untapped, and then Splinter Twin, kill you 20,000.